Hey guys, Tank here. Welcome to RC Talk. So, without further ado, here we go. We have Josh right now with us and Brett. Brett is from Canada, and Josh, like some of the people know, um, you just moved. Well, a little while ago, Josh, right?
About 6 months ago. So moved from the Midwest to California.
California. Weather's way different there.
It's just as hot in the summer, but beyond that, it's pretty nice.
And you're at Vanquish now.
I am at Vanquish now, so I work here full time. It's I've made the transition to full time RC.
Wow.
Yes.
Every kid's dream to actually work and play with RCs all day.
Yeah, it worked out pretty well. So,
Cool. So basically, today is about what's on your bench. I've been not out of commission, but I've been busy with life with Sebastien. He's starting hockey. Well, he finished hockey, and then he started soccer. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's been keeping me away from the RC stuff. I haven't been posting a lot of videos up, but I've been doing some stuff. And I just want to know what's up with you guys. You can type in a message and find out, or send pictures. I'm on Google Plus, YouTube, and also Facebook. So the Tank RC. So for people that don't know why I picked the Tank, it's basically because my name is François, which is English. It's Frank, and I'm a big guy, so everybody called me Frank the Tank. So it's kind of stuck. So then I decided to do the Tank RC.
so I didn't actually know that. So.
Yeah,
I didn't know
for
that.
the longest time, everybody thought I had tanks, but I did not. But now I actually bought one just this winter. I bought a airsoft tank. It was a big joke. I finally got a tank. Now I am the tank.
Right. My summer has been a little hectic as well, especially with videos, not or the lack thereof, with
The wedding.
wedding, being gone for a couple of weeks for a honeymoon, and then after the honeymoon coming back and having to get caught up with work. And while work is RC, it doesn't always mean that I had time to actually do the video stuff. Uh, and now we're into the hot season here, and my studio's on the other side of this wall here, but it does not stay very cool, especially towards the end of the day when all the heat from the outside of the building tends to start coming in. So that room gets super hot usually when I want to do videos, and so I'm going to, I might make a couple of changes on that to allow me to do them a little bit more frequently here in the near future. Specifically with the bomber that's sitting here in front of me, which has been the one that I've been most focused on lately.
Yeah, that's the one that you actually have a budget built for, right?
Yeah, that one is, like I said, my most focused on anyway. I've got a series normally that I was doing weekly on it, and I just have not had time really since I got back, and I do have a bunch of parts here for it now, and I just need to get around to actually doing the video. So Axial Fest is coming up in 2 weeks, and 2 weeks from today I'll be there at Axial Fest. It'll be in pretty much in full swing. So I'm only an hour away from the location now, so that's quite handy. But it means that I've got to get in gear and get a bunch of stuff done.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you have a series called Budget Build. Mind you, a lot of people's budgets are not the same as others. Others have limitless budget, like the other guy on the other little window there that we have here.
The budget that $50. It's basically based around $50 though, and everybody's budget.
That's $50 a week.
Well, I do it per week, but that's just how often I do the videos. Somebody could follow it per month or per you know, every other month or every paycheck or whatever it works for them. So to not, you know, for me to make a $20 a week budget build would be one of the most boring video series. It would just drag on. So, you know, even at $50, it can get challenging, especially
Yeah.
if you tackle the easy things. Then you got to get into some of the other parts, and then you know, you either sit there and have a video staring at yourself for 5 minutes, or figure out something to do in the interim. But
Before you worked at Vanquish, every time you did a budget build or whatever, you used to always take RC parts that were from a little bit everywhere. Are you going to still keep doing the same thing with your budget build, or are you just going to put Vanquish
got to,
parts?
you know, before I still used Vanquish for the stuff that I needed to. You know, now, like on this one that's in front of me here, I've done, well, it's got a brushless system in it, which I did not include in the budget build, but that's for a whole nother reason. But, you know, I did links. Well, we've got our incision links, and you can't find links cheaper than that. So it made sense to use those. And then I did a motor plate, and our motor plate's cheaper than a Chinese motor plate, so I used that. And, you know, I used our Stage 1 kit, which I've always used their Knuckles and C's. I haven't used anybody else's for a really long time. So a lot of it's been Vanquish, but it's really just been because we've really been hitting a lot of those options that make Vanquish a lot more affordable than, you know, or our incision line, I guess, now as well.
Yeah.
Like my links, our lockers, and all that kind of stuff. So.
Well, the bomber is pretty. It's a pretty recent rig, and I guess you guys are trying to come out with a lot of new parts just to get ahead of the market.
Yeah, I mean, the bomber's been out for, God, did it come out before Christmas?
Yeah, I think so. Just before.
Yeah, so, you know, in that time frame anyway. You know, of course, like a lot of axials, it uses basically a lot of just other parts. Wraith axles, Yeti transmission for the most part, with the exception of the front half of the transfer case. And then it just kind of goes from there. So it's just rounding out the line and releasing little things here and there. But it's, you know, the bomber is just my favorite truck for the most part. That's why I like it better than any RC that I've owned to date.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. A lot of people really like it, even better than Wraith, because it's so much different. But the same, but at the same time different.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically what I always would have turned my Wraith into. It does everything that I, you know, it's basically what my ideal Wraith would have been. So, in the end, that's why it's my favorite truck.
Cool, and we have John that joined us.
Yeah, just for a little while. I don't know how long I'll be able to stick around.
Not a problem.
How's it doing? Been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time I've been off. Try to come back a little bit there. Summer's here, and I'm going to be on vacation soon, so hopefully I'll have time to do some other nice little videos.
Okay.
Last weekend I had some people coming over. We were 8 or 9 guys, and we had lots of rigs, and they had lots of fun in my trail at the back. I have, Josh, I have a trail at the back, and it's a Class 1, Class 2 trail, and I'm making it pretty challenging. GCM is going to come and have an event here at the end of the month.
Oh, wow. Wow. Awesome.
Josh, you have a Instagram, and you keep posting slow motion races with the bomber. Where are those races?
Like, let's see, when we do the Ultra 4 racing, Ultra 4 we mainly do at Auburn Performance Raceway. Auburn, California is on the north side of Sacramento here, or northeast side. It's only about 35 minutes for me. That would be the NorCal U4 track, really the preferred NorCal track.
Okay. And are they having a weekly race, or how does it work?
Every 3 weeks. So, since it's Instagram, I usually just slowly release videos or pictures or things like that, just because it works out better to keep posting that way.
Yeah.
Only every 3 weeks.
Yep.
Hmm.
So, yeah, every 3 the first series just ended. The next series starts not this weekend, but next. So,
Are you racing yet?
I race every once in a while, basically. I usually just go to take pictures or video or run. I'll run the bomber a little bit, but that's about it. I really haven't focused on it. I still have my PRT, my UC Fab PRT truck that needs to be finished. I just haven't done it. Then I've also got another UC Fab truck that's being built right now, and I really haven't posted about it yet, but it's a little ways out as well. I need to get my PRT finished mainly. I've got the hard part. I just need to get it assembled. I need to finish gathering the parts I need and then finish assembling it.
So you mean the hard part is the time?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So, just deciding to stay and get it done, or go focus on it on the weekend rather than going and driving or something like that. There's so much terrain out here, and the terrain out here is so. I mean, it's awesome to go drive on, especially with coming from the Midwest, where terrain, especially technical rocky terrain, was limited to a number of spots. Out here, I can go. If I go an hour and a half up the hill, which is, that is some of the coolest terrain I've ever driven on, or I can just go 40 minutes and have enough terrain to just play for as long as I would want. But we went up and did Donner Pass, and we hiked up there with some of the group that's from around there, and that was some of the most fun. It's at like 7,700 feet of altitude, so we were playing in snow, and it was
super nice up to Donner Pass.
Oh,
Super
yeah.
nice up there, yeah. I used to do a lot of fly fishing up there.
Right. So 85 down here, 55 up there.
Yeah, exactly.
It was great. So on the weekends, I usually have to make that decision if I'm going to go run RC cars or if I'm going to work on them. So.
Do they still have lots of competition crawlers over there, or has that pretty much died off?
I'd say there's more here than anywhere else, but there's not a ton. I mean, they still have regular get-togethers and things like that, but it doesn't. I mean, it's nothing like it used to be. So, I am going to build another comp crawler, but not to actually compete. Even I just miss how fun driving those was at times.
Okay.
So I've got one of the Pseudo Pros coming. It's got a cool mix of 3D printed and carbon fiber, and it's just a really good looking chassis. I don't like 3D printed stuff most of the time. I think it has its places, but in general, I don't love it in a lot of applications. But when it's in this application on a comp crawler, we'll see how it does and see how sturdy it is and things like that. I should normally say I don't like 3D printed things in high stress areas. I love 3D printed for the detail you can get and like cool detail parts. But this is actually like a structural part that's 3D printed, which is interesting. But
Cool.
I'll probably throw some RC four-wheel drive Bully 2 axles on it and just have fun.
RC four-wheel drive just released one of the new bullies that they have.
Yes, a ready-to-run version.
Yeah.
Saw that as well.
Because that's the only thing I don't have here. I got about 30 different trucks, or 25. My wife thinks I got 3, but that's okay.
All she needs to know.
And that's about the only one I don't have is actually a competition crawler. I don't believe in owning like 4 of the same truck, so I have a lot of different trucks. So like that, when I go have fun with Sebastien or with my son, we bring 2 different type of trucks, and the driving is completely different. So it's just that fun.
Yeah, I do like. I've always loved comp crawling, and I wish that it wouldn't have gone the way that it did in the end. But it's still a lot of fun to actually play around with, and the shafty type classes seem to be some of the more popular now, which is a big change. But still, um, I think that I'll build an MOA just because they're more capable, and since I'm just going out to have fun to drive, I'm looking forward to
Okay.
it.
On my last event that we had here, I got a buddy. We built a 55-degree hill, and he had a Komodo. He was trying to climb it, and there's no way he was going to make it. So in my house, I bought some 2.2 tires. I think they're, oh man, I can't remember, but they're calm crawler tires. They're 2.2s, but they're weighted. And man, did the guy ever put a lot of weight on that. So I told my buddy, put that on your Komodo, and don't go crazy on the trigger, but just put it on there. And he was going over everything and made that hill no problem, just using with those weighted tires, but they're heavy.
Yeah, that's where comp crawling changed a lot as well. Actually, is that early, like 2008, 2009, we were running those heavy tires and things like that. But as time progressed, it went weighted wheels and tires, or at least anything with any like significant weight was you don't do that anymore. You stay as light as possible now. I mean I tech sub 3 pound 2.2 crawlers. They're
Okay.
carbon fiber axle tubes, carbon fiber tires. There's nothing extra anywhere. So
If you got away with 3 bolts instead of 4, you did.
yeah, and then you wondered if you could do 2 instead, and then you went from stainless hardware to aluminum hardware, titanium hardware only where it was super high stress, and it was looking at grams, making sure the wiring in your car was as short as possible or non-existent, and just jumpering from piece to piece. 2 ESCs, a BEC, and your receiver would fit inside of a Tic Tac case. By the time you removed all the casing, all the wiring, everything, and then you just had 2 short battery wires to the smallest battery pack you could, and then the tiniest little motor wires going to the motors. So
I think that's what killed the hobby, was it started getting too expensive and to be competitive.
it made a lot of that stuff, and then when things get really light, and you can have durability issues, and things are expensive but fragile, and it definitely played a part in it if it wasn't the reason. It was so great, when you've got things that are just so fragile and so small and dainty that it's really surprising that that's the way that things went.
Really.
I have a question for you, Josh. I just picked up a Futaba, the 9372.
9372.
Yeah, the S-Bus, high voltage. It has 364 ounces at .06, I think it is.
Okay.
That's a 7.4
Yeah.
turbo. And I don't believe the Fly Sky receiver will handle that. I have a Spectrum. It's just the standard, the SR, I think 300, might be the 200. Will that handle 7.4?
Yes.
Spectrum always had no problem with 7.4. I don't think Spectrum really had any problem with like up to 8 volts, but I think the only issue they ever had was amperage. But with one servo, you'll be fine.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
I ran 8.4 through my Spectrum.
Yeah, I don't think they ever had it. It was once, like when we were doing super crawlers and had 2 big servos. Was the only time we had any issue. Sorry, I swallowed something.
Yeah. You can, if you think you actually have an issue with that, you can also wire your BEC directly to your servo too. You don't have to run it through the receiver, right? If you wanted to use your fly sky.
Right. That Holmes makes a bypass adapter that's like $6, and it's all plug and play. Or you can wire it manually, but his adapter's crazy easy, super nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
John, what are you working on these days?
What was that?
What are you working on these days on your bench?
Right now, I'm working on the Silver Bullet. Just put that
Nice.
servo I picked up, that Savox servo. Bad lighting in here. I do apologize. That's
And your Civil Bullet is based on what chassis?
That's a Traxxas Rustler.
Okay. And
106 miles an hour.
what speed have you brought that up to?
This went up to 106.
106 miles an hour. Wow.
Yeah, doing a full rebuild. New motor, new ESC, new servo.
And how many times have you crashed it and flipped it and had to rebuild it?
This will be my 4th time rebuilding it, but I've probably crashed it well over a dozen times. Yeah. Yeah, a lot.
Oh, when you do that much speed, it's not that you don't have a choice, but they go so fast, and when you go to stop, sometime one little mistake on the trigger and you're done.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It happens faster than you can react. That's for sure.
Yeah. And hopefully you have not hit anybody with them so far?
I'm sorry, what was that?
You have not hit anybody with them so far?
No, 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 absolutely not.
I know some people on YouTube and all that, you see them doing speed and people are just get in the way, or it just does a flip and just bounce your way. It's kind of bad.
Oh yeah, yeah, it could happen. Like I said, it can happen pretty fast.
You got to be careful.
Absolutely.
And you, Brett, what are you working on these days?
Right now, I'm just working on my quad.
Okay. With the RC 4-wheel drive motor and all that. Cool.
Yeah, just working on my dash right now.
Nice. That's a printed dash from who?
That's Ryan Luna.
Cool.
How far is that thing away from driving, Brett?
What drives now?
No idea. Huh?
No, it drives right now.
Oh, it does?
Oh yeah. I got all the wiring pulled out, but I had to drive in yesterday.
How far is it from done?
Are they ever done?
It's never done.
I'm usually done right before they go for sale.
Yeah, that's probably about it. I don't know. I just got to work on some detail, and I don't know, good couple days, and I'll have it done. Yeah. I was planning to have it done for this Sunday to run at an event that we're going to. So that's my plan.
That one's completely in the mud.
This one won't be in the mud, ever.
It'll look like it belongs there, but I wouldn't put it there either.
No, this one won't be in the water.
I mean, I got a couple of things on the go. I have to finish my boat. I have to find it's either a small brushless ESC for it, or change the motor back to a brushed motor. It has a small little motor at the back, and the guy that had it changed it to a brushless because he wanted to go faster. I'll show you a little quick. So basically, it's a small-scaled bass boat, and it's got a motor at the back. So the guy that gave it to me gave me an ESC for it to actually fit in the back here, but man, it's way too big, the ESC. So I got to slide it in there, but the ESC gave me it's way too big, and this is now a brushless motor, which is a very small can. So it's either that I buy a brushed and put it back there, because basically what I want to do with this is some scaled video. In other words, back it up in the river with my SCX10 and just fake as if I'm going bass fishing. So I don't want it for speed. I just want it just for show.
Have you not seen how fast bass boats are nowadays?
Yeah, but even if I put a brushed motor on there, it's still going to go fast.
I'm always a fan of too much power.
Too much power.
Yep. You're always better to have too much power on tap and just back off from it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the model of conservative throttle use.
Well, see, the ESC is in there right now, so this is the ESC I got for it. I'll bring it up closer.
Oh, it's a water 50 amp. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a water. My issue is once I get it in there with all the pipes and coming back outside, it's a pain in the ass. But I guess it's my first boat. Never had a boat before, so I don't know.
I bought a setup through Hobby King that was a little water-cooled ESC. It's probably half the size of that, though. And it was $25.
Oh yeah, was it brushless?
Yeah, brushless, water-cooled. Brushless motor for it was like, I mean, it was very cheap as well, and it had a water jacket. We put it in one of those little RC jet boats.
Okay.
And worked great, and I think my total cost on that whole setup was like less than $50.
Cool. And I have to finish my toy hauler this summer. I got nice big wheels for it now. But basically, it's on this guy. This is the guy with a trailer or a fifth wheel adapter, built on a GCM. GCM, what kind of frame again? It has 410 chassis. It's a leaf chassis. It's all on leaves, and it's got a big, long dry shaft that goes from the back all the way to the center because it's going to be a motor in the front.
Is it just going to be two-wheel drive?
Yeah, two-wheel drive, just at the back. This is just to pull a big trailer. I'll bring the cab here. I'll show you the cab. It's a Ford F-150, I think, or Ford 450. So it used to be a pickup, but Chris had that, and somebody actually finished the back and closed the back off. So it should be kind of cool once it's done.
Yeah.
So
I will be
like
back
this.
second.
And then, but I found those wheels a little small. Those wheels are actually 1.7. Yeah, 1.7. But they were cut and fitted on 1.9 rims. So if you look at the two lines here, this was added to the tires to make them fit on 1.9s. But now I just picked up these wheels for it instead, and these are 1.9s, and I think these are going to go look much better on the truck, especially at the back. So we'll see how it looks. I'll try them. If not, I'll put them on my SCX10. They're just a little bit bigger than my stock tires that are on it. But the transmission's all installed. I just have to put the motor and put the center dry shaft, and it's a running truck. It's just I'm taking my time on the interior, but I'm not a finishing guy, so I'm just thinking, just make it run and have fun with it.
Yeah, not much of a finisher either. This is really the Claude's the only thing I'm really finished.
Well, that's where I found I got a lot of weakness is on the patience of finishing those final little touches that really makes it awesome, like the interior of the dash, or putting lighting in the dash, and putting an interior door, and some of the things that some guys come up with. They even have windows that roll up and down. Like, it's just amazing what people come up with, but I have no patience for that, or right now anyways. Or the skill.
But if I want to be competitive with the new GCM rules, I need to step up my game.
Yeah, especially with the new tiny trucks and the points, the way they're gonna do the points and all of that. Yeah, for the GCM challenges, you do have to step it up and make sure you have interior, make sure you have scaled items in your truck, and sound module or smoke or whatever those guys come up with. It's kind of cool. It's really inventive what they do.
Yeah, because I have no problem doing performance end. That's easy. It's but the GCM really doesn't apply to the performance end anymore, right?
Yeah. See, Josh, this is the trailer. It's going to be a dual axle trailer, but this is the trailer it's actually going to pull. So it's a very long trailer, but the guy that did it didn't make it long enough here to make it look like a Winnebago or a camper in the front. But the Wraith actually fits on here no problem and comes up to here. So I actually want to take this and make it a little bit bigger and a little higher, so when it hooks up on the fifth wheel, it actually looks like a toy trailer.
Gotcha.
Toy hauler.
You know what that looks like to me?
What?
I said, you know what that looks like to me?
Too much work.
What does it look like?
Expensive to ship when I'm going to sell it. And it also looks like I would have a pile of broken styrene.
And I picked up a bunch of metal at work, and it's like nice little angle irons. They're very small. We use them for racks, for wiring. They're called lacing bars, and they're really nice because they're slotted. So I want to build a car hauler. You know those big long ramps that you actually put 3 or 4 cars on it, and the last car is actually almost on top of the truck. Those long trailers that you see. So I want to build one of those in metal to actually put at the back of that truck also. That's going to be cool.
Yeah, that would be in scale, that will be a pretty long trailer still.
It's about 3 feet. I measured it. It's about 3 feet long because I want to put my TF2 on it. I want to put my Wraith and a racing car, and I think I wanted to put 4 cars. I did it in AutoCAD, and it turned out pretty cool. But it's going to be a very nice long rig, and I'm not going to go off-roading with it. It's just for show and being on the pavement and things like that.
I could imagine that for sure.
Another video I saw, and somebody's sending me parts, another thing I'm going to be making is a motorized trailer camper.
Motorized trailer camper?
Yes. So
is it a powered driveline or powered pop-up?
It's going to be a powered driveline. So I'm actually using an old Sakura RC car, and it's going to be rear-wheel drive. I'm chopping off the front, and I'm going to put a tongue on it to hook up onto my SCX10 if I want to. But I'm actually using a plain landing gear in the front that's going to be steerable. So you should see the video I saw. Anyways, it's kind of cool, and nobody made it yet, so I'm going to be making it, and then I'm going to make a trailer on top of the Sakura, so the wheel actually end up near the end of the middle of the trailer, just like a camper trailer. And then I'm going to fake that it's attached to my car, but of all of a sudden the trailer is actually going to pass my car, and you'll be able to actually drive the trailer.
That would be interesting. Working out that gearing may be difficult.
What do you mean?
So.
What do you mean it's going to be difficult to work out the gearing?
If you're going to try and drive it behind your SCX-10, to power them both at the same ratio, motor, ESC.
Oh, but it's just only for a few seconds. Just imagine, you see the SCX-10, it looks like it's pulling the trailer, like coming towards you, but then it actually, the trailer actually goes on the other side and starts passing the SCX-10.
Okay, I see what you're talking about.
But I can also make it that when you lift it off, you can actually hook it on the SCX-10 and not power it, but actually just pull it with it.
Right.
So there's a bunch of things I want to do. I like making things that are different than everybody. Just that's why I made my rat rod. I don't know if you ever saw any pictures or photos of my rat rod. The way I took a fixed axle and I put it on a e-revo.
Right. Yeah. I've thought about it as well. It seems like the cool trailer builds are always fun, and it does seem that the challenge of driving a trail with a trailer would also be something that would be something different and kind of interesting to try. But then I always realize that my driving style with that type of thing in the end would just be probably not the best idea.
Well, to me, it's something that you're going to bring out only on maybe an RC meet, or when you meet up with a whole bunch of friends, you put it in a parking lot just to talk about it and have some fun. It's not something that you're going to drive every day. It's just something that you're going to bring out every once in a while. That's why I rat mod. Somebody is hearing my audio very delayed. You probably have the broadcast video up. I can actually hear it just a little bit.
Yeah, I hear that as well.
We used to do the trailer comp in Kansas City, where once a year we would all get together. You all had to bring a trailer, and the goal was to make it through the comp style course with your scale rig and trailer, while the trailer was carrying something, either an egg or a handful of marbles, things like that.
Yeah, well, we did those races here also, but they were with a 4x4 slash or 4x4 a short course truck, and we put trailers at the end of it and went around. But you had to finish with the trailer still attached to your car, and 30% of the trailer still had to be on and things like that. It was a lot of fun.
I can imagine the 30% thing would be the trick.
They do those races for real, right?
Yes.
Yeah, in Europe, I think or something like that. It's that Car Magazine place. They make those.
I hear that as well.
We used to do the trailer comp in Kansas City, where once a year we would all get together. We all had to bring a trailer, and the goal was to make it through the course with a scale rig trailer, while the trailer was carrying something, either an egg or a handful of marbles.
Your audio was very low. I heard a little bit of that conversation. Everybody's mics are muted.
I was trying to see who had the video playing. I think it's John.
Okay. Yeah, right now I don't hear the audio playing back.
If you're talking, John, you're muted, John.
Can you unmute your microphone, John? On the window, you should have a little thing on top to unmute your microphone. There you go. Here's my beast that needs a new servo in the front. Running a beast, Beck, and my old Savox just decided to give up. I think you're the one that has the audio playing back a little later, John.
Was it me?
No?
Is it fixed now, or what do I need to do to fix that?
Well, when I talk, when you hear me talk, just do a quick test. You see my. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to use my fingers. So you should see my fingers at the same time as the video. 1, 2, 3. Did you see my fingers come up at the same time?
Yep. Yeah, same time as you're saying the numbers, your fingers are going up.
Oh, that's strange. Okay. So I didn't want to pay another $80 for, or $75 or whatever it is for the waterproof Savox. So I went out and I got this guy, Tactic TSX55 with dual bearings and 200 ounces of torque.
Nice.
Should hold up. I can't wait to see if this guy's going to make it up the hill.
One of the, the Savox servos I've never had good feelings about, but that's one thing. Everyone looks at the waterproof, and most people don't know that all of the Futaba servos are waterproof.
Yeah, but it's not written that it is.
It's what's that?
It's not written that it is waterproof.
Yeah, it's in the specs. It's all in the specs.
Yeah, I seen that as well. They labeled it as water resistant.
No, I mean it shows waterproof. If you look on their site, WP shows on their on the back. It'll show MG for metal gear, ball bearing, waterproof, coreless, brushless, all of those things.
Now, is that the only servo you actually use yourself?
Me, yeah. And in the case that I don't, I'll use a high-tech. I've always had really good luck with high-techs. I think high-tech's one of the best as well. Futaba's always been kind of chasing high-tech as far as like power for the cost and things like that. High-tech's always been probably the better buy in that instance. Until recently, Futaba released the S9177 SV, and that 9177 is it's right up there with the cost of like I think, Brett, do you know what a 7950 costs?
It was like 150, 169 or something.
Yeah, they're right in there, and they're like, what do they run for power?
They're 450, 500 ounce.
Right. So I thought. So they released that S9177, and it's 589 ounce inches, like 0.10 response, waterproof, and it's $150.
Oh yeah.
So it's got better specs than the BLS 172 that I normally run, and it's like considerably less money. They basically, it seems like they took a lot of the maybe a lot of the extra stuff out that we didn't need in the 172, and threw it in that, which is great. So that'll be the next one that I'm running, trying out, making sure that the gear sets hold up as well. I've never broke a gear set in a 172, so it's
Yeah, nowhere in their packaging or in the instructions does it say anything about waterproof or water resistant. I know on the website it does.
right. You know, I think all of their servos just for, I mean, since like 2007 at least have all been waterproof.
That motor lift. Okay, go ahead and show it. Okay. Just a minute, I'll present to you.
I don't even know if you can pick that up.
What's that?
I don't even know if you can see that with the camera.
Let's see. Yeah, not really. 9372, yeah.
Yeah, the 9373 is the one with the aluminum faceplate as well.
Right. And the BLS 177 is all aluminum as well.
The CLS 177.
BLS. Let's see. Yeah, just what was that one again? 93.
9372 SB.
I'm on BLS, not just. 93. I don't know why they don't have their name. Maybe it is digital. Or brushless, or S-Bus. Wall. Yeah, there it is. S9372. Yep, that's waterproof.
That's nice. We'll throw that in the SCX 10, I think. Way
Right.
more than it needs.
I don't know about more than it needs.
I know how you are.
Having at least 300 ounce inches is really nice, you know, even in a SCX 10, especially once you start adding any weight to them and still wanting to be able to turn the tires, you know, it's one of those things. It's just.
You're gonna laugh. I'm currently running the High-Tech 645.
Yeah.
And, you know, big difference.
Yeah, that will be a considerable difference.
So that motor lift that you have, Josh, where did you get that from again? I know you mentioned it on one of your broadcasts that you did a while back.
I don't even remember. I've had it for so long, I really have no idea where they came from. But I mean, it's a little. It's central hydraulic, the whole deal. So it's a functional little hydraulic lift. And one of the things that I picked up recently was this little. I don't know. It's a little Hemi model. It doesn't hide a motor or anything like that. So it's just a model piece anyway. But the big 1/10 scale Hemi, it's all CNC milled, the whole deal. The headers are aluminum tubing. That's not true. It's aluminum rod that's been drilled to look like the headers and things like that. Can all be disassembled, the whole deal. And I was thinking about I might put it in a Polar or I might put it in a monster truck. I really don't know yet, but
On the Polar for front weight, it's gonna help you.
oh yeah, I mean I'm sure it would help. And I've got like my mega truck that it would fit well into as well. So just trying to decide what to use it in is my biggest thing.
That means you got too many trucks.
Yeah, you know, it's also just kind of a weird little piece. You know, you got to find the right application for it.
Yeah.
So it'll fit in somewhere.
Let's see if I can come up with something to work on. Josh, I did a Jeep drifter a while back. Here's my little Jeep drifter with an HPI U10. There you go.
What? Oh, was that the New Bright hard body?
I have no idea. I received this from a guy. I had the E10 and I had the body for it, the original body. But
Yeah.
he started putting this on it, and I finished it. So he didn't finish it. He had it figured it all out, but then I put it on. He had it much higher and all that, but I wanted it really low style. So when you actually put it on the street, it's kind of cool. It looks neat because it's so low.
I had considered it a Jeep drifter at one time, and I wanted to do it with an SCX-10 though, just a full-on SCX-10 and build it as a drift style, you know, just overdrive the rear, underdrive the front for counter steer, and then I wanted to clearance the chassis so that I could run it uber low, just the skid plate almost on the ground. And when I started to do that, I had C-notched the front of the chassis, and then I was starting to think about back half in the chassis, and that's when I started building that crispy truck that I did the first time.
Okay.
Whatever happened with the semi truck?
It's still around here.
Is it?
Behind me in that room, you know, and then I saw that Tamiya released a new version of that. You
Oh,
know.
really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
A racing semi, you know. A good-looking body, the whole deal, and God, I think that, you know, it's, of course, Tamiya kits like that are always pretty cheap. I think it was only like $120 or something like that.
Nice.
So I paid over half that just for that body. So better decisions have been made, but it's still a cool body.
It is.
So if I didn't dislike drifting so much, I probably would have continued it.
I wish you could finish it. I'm looking forward to it.
What do you say, Brett?
Whatever happened to that drifter you bought?
Which? Oh, you mean the blue one?
One that you were going to cut in half or something.
You know, I ended up giving that to a friend back in Kansas City. I was just like, you know, it was actually, what did I do? I gave it to him for helping me at my house when I was getting ready to move.
Give that to Howard?
Nope, I gave it to John the gardener.
Oh.
So the he has it now. He's the one. He's got a bunch of those crazy drifters, so it seemed appropriate that he had it.
Are you actually brazing in the house, Brett?
I wasn't brazing. I was installing my dash.
Oh.
With a big torch?
Yep.
With nap on top of that?
Yep.
Just it needed to be molded in a little bit.
I got my dash in there,
Yep.
but I didn't have a way to mount it.
Did you just heat up the chassis and stick it in?
Yep. I melted it in place.
I love it. Great idea. Let me see that chassis up close to the body. Yep. I always loved that truck.
What's that?
I loved that truck.
Yeah, me too. I just need to drive it now.
Now, who made you that chassis?
Lou from Matzilla.
Okay.
I'm actually kind of impressed how well that worked.
Sometimes you just never know.
That could have been disastrous. I was waiting
Were
for
those the CX-10 frame rails?
No, he made his own frame rails.
Okay.
I am so surprised it didn't burn my finger or something.
I like the idea though. Just heat it up and stick it in place. So,
For the bomber, the chassis is plastic. How long is it going to take for you to make a steel frame chassis, or has anybody made one yet?
I mean, I've seen BGR make one out of aluminum, and of course, there's other chassis you could go with. And I could basically stick it onto a UC Fab chassis or something like that as well. But part of the, I'd rather just build a new truck if it's at that point. And
Okay.
I think the bomber is just really good at being the bomber. So I have no intentions of switching that chassis out. I think it works great as it is. I think the only thing I'll have to worry about is actually just wearing through it or breaking it.
What's your next upgrade on it?
I've got. So I've been driving it a ton lately, and I've re-glued these tires onto these wheels so many times. So many times. I've re-glued them onto the wheels twice. Once was a trail fix, once I actually did, so in the shop. But those plastic wheels are done. I've blown the hexes out. I cracked 2 of the hexes and rounded out one of the other ones. So I've only got 2 good wheels on it. I've swapped the spare in. I had just a moment on the trail the other day. We were up at Donner, and one of my rear wheels cracked first, and I was in 3-wheel drive and couldn't really do much about it. So I was just like, I'll just drive it and let it spin, it's whatever. And one of the guys that was out there with us goes, "Can't you just use the spare?" Like, I just didn't even comprehend that I was actually carrying around a functional spare. Oh God. So yeah, I threw the spare on, and then I blew the other wheel out by the end of the day, and then I blew the spare out the next weekend. So, I've got 2 good wheels left, basically. But wheels are a tough one to do on a budget build, but I've got my solution coming there soon. So at the same time, I've got a new set of the R35 BFGs. I love the tires.
They look nice.
So I'm going to stay with them. I have been running them next to people, with a bunch of other tires, and even on the stock S40 compound that comes on the car, they've done super well. The bomber itself is capable, but the tires have never held me back.
The BF Goodrich, isn't that one of the slow-mo you've made on one of the videos showing that how good the BF Goodrich are when they actually slow-moed and it was turning or something like that?
I think that video you're actually thinking of lately was me sliding in sideways, but I was basically sliding on the wheel. It was because that I was saying my foams were completely shot.
Okay.
The foams that are in this car now are so worn out. It's crazy. Like, this front tire has been completely debeated at this point, and I can pull that foam out even, and it's just gonna. There's just nothing left to it. It just doesn't have any feel left at all. So,
you took that foam out so easy. You should glue those tires once in a while, eh?
Yeah, that one has been defeated. So when I go to new tires, I'm going to go new tires, new wheels, new foams, and I'll go through that whole process and discuss that.
Now on those, are you going to go through 2-stage foam, or are you going to stay with a little harder foam, or how's it going to be?
I'm going to go with a 2-stage foam. So I won't go closed cell on it because this car I do like to crawl with a lot. I like to do probably what I would say I do most of this thing is kind of that rock bouncing type deal, trying to throw it up a hill as fast as I can. So I'll go with that. This, and the other thing with closed cell foams is they work best with a really soft tire, really thin, pliable tire. And these tires, like turning it inside out, you can see there's just a crazy amount of ribbing and reinforcement in the inside of these BFGs. So, I mean, there's a lot going on the inside of that tire compared to a lot of our other ones. So.
It looks like it because usually when you flip a tire, you don't have that many ridges on it. It's all nice and flat inside.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of the tires now seem to go to something with a little bit more support on the inside, but you know, these follow suit, and they're actually just. I also love the look of them. These are one of my favorite tires, so I'll be happy to stay with these. And then I also got gear sets here for it, and I've got the aluminum King shock pieces.
Okay.
So, well, I'll swap those out from the plastics.
What'd you do for gearing? Go stock or overdrive, underdrive?
I went HD front and just stock HD ratio front and rear. I thought about underdriving both.
That's what I did.
The underdrive gear set's so strong. I just really didn't want to lose any of my top end, and I think the underdrive gearing is like 13% slower than the stock ratio.
Yeah, really that much?
Yeah, it's like 13%. If you do under and overdrive, it's like a 26% or 23% difference overall, front to rear. So over and underdrive is a crazy amount of difference. Always worked really well for competition crawling, but trying to do both in a scale rig is always a lot of bind. So I'm just gonna go with the stock gearing. Keep it reasonable. I really love the speed of this car. It's a lot of fun to drive fast, and that's my basic reasoning on it. My hood scoop on this thing is getting a little ground down on that leading edge from the occasional rock coming in there and hitting it. But that hood scoop I had 3D printed in there sits on top of the dash. I guess it's a dash scoop.
Yeah, it's a dash scoop to bring the air in.
Yeah, and it basically just goes right down on top of that ESC. And I didn't even know if it would really hold up for very long, being on there and that, but it actually is super rigid. And it's got some scars on it from getting hit, but it's not that bad. The front stinger on this car is what's really, it's almost flat. It's been ground down so much in one direction that it is not a round tube anymore.
Really? So you've been loving that car a lot. You've been using it a lot.
Yeah, I have not used a car this much in a long time. I have not found a car that I like to drive more than this car.
Cool.
I took the SCX-10-2 and this car out last weekend up to Cisco Grove, which is where Axial Fest will be, and we drove we got up there around 10 or so, and I think we left at like 5 or 6. So we did a ton of driving, and I drove the SCX-10-2 for a while, but in the end I drove my Bomber for way more than half the time.
You were showing on your Instagram a drag racing with the Bombers.
Yeah. By the end of the day, everyone had switched over to their Bombers, and we were we beat on them a lot.
I got something to drag race with you if you want. Here's one for you to drag race against.
I will gladly drag race you for that, but I picked it.
Well, on a straightaway, I think I'm going to win you, but it's got to be pavement. It's got to be really flat.
It's got to be manicured.
Oh yeah. This thing is crazy. I've been drag racing against some local guys here, and I haven't lost yet. So I'm just waiting for somebody to bring a truck and actually race me and win with me with it. But this thing has it's called a top. They call those top fuel drag motor. It's a big motor in there, but it's actually a brushed motor. That can is huge, with big brushes on each side.
Oh, you know what? That motor was made by Aeroflight?
Yes. Yes.
Astroflight.
Astroflight. Yes, that's
Astroflight.
correct.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just
I
what
actually
I'm-
know that motor pretty well. Brett, you remember the Cobalt Polar?
What's that?
You remember the old Cobalt Polars?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what that is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we used to run a variation of that motor that you have there in the crawlers. There was a God, what was it? There was a 5-turn, a 7-turn, and was there a 10-turn?
Yeah.
Yeah, 10-turn, and they were crazy. I mean, torque monsters. But yeah, it had those weird exposed brushes on the back end like that.
Yeah. You can actually see one of them there, that little black stub sticking up.
Yep, exactly. I remember that motor. I remember that motor well.
And I'm running a track Summit ESC on there to make sure I got enough juice going to the motor.
Right.
So there's a lot of juice.
The something I've seen here recently on Facebook in this area is they're doing RC street racing out here. Like just bring anything, and you decide who you want to race against, and then they'll just race somewhere out here.
We have a local shop here that does that.
What's that?
We have a local shop here that does that.
Really?
Yeah.
So
They set up the track and they have the timers and everything for you.
Huh.
Go run whatever you want to bring.
Interesting. I had not actually seen it before.
Yeah, in Cornwall, there's a hobby shop that used to do it in Cornwall also. Every month they had a drag race. Bring whatever you have and just have fun. And it was kind of cool, all the cars that people were bringing. It was neat. But then the hobby store closed down, so no more drag race.
And where was that at, Josh?
It's out here in Sacramento.
In Sacramento?
Yeah. So
How often do they have that?
you know what? I actually just seen it. Well, you know how Facebook groups go. You get added to one. I have no idea how long it's been going on or whatnot, but recently they've been posting about it, and I've seen it I think like twice this week.
Oh, no kidding. Well, yeah, I don't do Facebook, so I miss all that stuff. But yeah, I'd be interested in taking one of the cars out and doing a little drag racing.
So yeah, it looks kind of cool.
That'd be fun. All right, you guys, I gotta get going. Dinner's ready.
Yep, I'm probably in that same boat. So
Yeah.
I've got a couple of things I want to get going on this tonight and do a little bit of video myself.
Sounds good. Thanks for joining, guys. I'm going
All
to
right,
be
thank
cutting
you
it
for
short
having me.
also.
Until the next one.
Yep.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Brett. We'll be talking to you later.
All right, no problem. Thanks for the invite. Thank you.
Thanks. Well, thanks, guys, for joining and watching RC Talk. Every once in a while, I make these. They're usually broadcast or advertised on my Instagram or my Facebook, and more often than not, it's on Google+. So if you guys want to join, just follow the link there, and you can join and talk to some guys and ask some questions. Anyways, till later, keep the batteries full and the throttle all the way to the end. Have fun RCing.